should start our meeting officially. And all our discussions you wanted to proceed, we kindly invite you to do it. It's after party, and during this conversation, I have had the idea about Google Maps, and you see that some of us are in Ukraine, some of us are in Romania. Also, we have today participants of our meeting from Ireland, from UK, and from Namibia as well. If some other countries I have missed, so just put in chat, and I will create some common map for all of this. And with these words, I invite to our stage our president of Dnipro Hills Toastmasters Clubs, Yura, officially to start the meeting. Yura?
Thank you, Lesia. Thank you very much. Yeah. It's a pleasure to see you all. I'm really great that so many people from different countries came to this meeting. It's really a pleasure. And you have just a small talk before. I'm not aware whether everybody had an opportunity to introduce. Please raise your hand who hasn't introduced himself or herself, by the way. Or everybody has been introduced. Oh, Max. Yes? Please.
So I'm just I'm attending for the first time. So I opened Facebook today, and as a Ukrainian living in Timisoara, I had this event. So I know somebody from Timisoara from the speaking club. I have never attended them, so that's why it's my first time here.
Thank you. And just to remind us, you're from Ukraine or Romania?
Yes, I'm Ukrainian living in Timisoara in Romania.
Cool. It's really cool. It's a brilliant opportunity for you to be just a bridge between Ukraine and Romania. And
thank you.
Who else? Please raise your hand who hasn't introduced, because I'm not sure. Because Daiana, Foros, maybe you? Have you introduced yourself?
No, I haven't. Good morning, everybody.
Okay, the stage is yours.
I am a club member in Timisoara English Speakers, TES. You can see the acronym. I put it also in the description of my role and name. I joined Toastmasters Club 5 years ago, and today is the middle of the day. I will be the speaker number 1.
Yeah, I see it. I see your speech, which is called "Just Do It."
Just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
yeah. Let's just do it. Just who else? Just who else? Who hasn't introduced? Who hasn't been introduced? Julian, have you had a chance?
Hello. Hello.
Oh, William.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Can you just tell us a few words about yourself?
Yeah, I am a guest, and I come from Jakarta, and I come to see about two Toastmasters clubs for different countries, and I want to looking for their speech and also listen and giving any comments on the meeting. Thank you.
Алло.
Okay, thank you.
Алло, Тима, привет.
Привет.
Как дела?
Хорошо, я...
We had another interruption. Just so all our guests and members have been already introduced. Yes, or Dak, you wanted?
Yeah, Dak is, yes.
Yeah. I'm waiting patiently. Waiting patiently.
Sorry.
Dak Klasky, a member of Dnipro, obviously, and also the founder and member of Battle Speakers in the UK. Everybody is invited always. We have probably the finest hybrid meeting in the world. And strangely enough, yesterday I was asked to do a educational on hybrid meetings, the latest thinking. And after 3 years, a lot of us now, we've got it off to perfection, hybrid meetings, really, really easy and absolute perfection. So I did it yesterday. It's 22 minutes, and I let Nataly know the YouTube address and that to get it. Okay. So looking forward to the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. And I'm to remind here is that despite Doug joins our meetings with internet connection, he managed to win many contests in our clubs, and then goes to further to further contests. Thank you, Doug. So all other guests and members have been introduced. Yes. No one wants to introduce himself or herself. Just let me check. No one wants. So with that said, our meeting is opened. Oh, Marius, sorry. Marius, the stage is yours.
That's okay. Marius Cazacu, Romanian, living in the United States, member of Toastmasters in 2011, so 13 years now. Area director, area D1, and member of TES, Timisoara English Speaking Club.
Pretty good. Such a experience in Toastmasters. Thank you. Thank you. Let me check. What about Marlena? What about Craig? Because I cannot see them, but maybe you want to say a word about yourself? Or you don't want? Marlena, yeah, please. Oh, you have
Hello, guys. I'm Marlena. I'm part of TES, and I have a bit of a cold right now, so my voice is going to be a bit changed. But thank you for inviting me.
Okay, I hope you will enjoy.
Masters for 2 years now.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you. What about Craig? Are you with us?
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. Can you just tell us a few words about yourself?
I've just been a Toastmaster since 2017, and currently I'm your Region 10 Public Relations Manager, handling all 8 districts in Europe. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I hope everybody has been introduced. If not, just raise your hand. Or no one wants? Okay. So our meeting is opened officially. Yes. And I am to pass the control to the Toastmaster of our meeting. The Toastmaster, are you ready, by the way? Yes, please. So ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters and guests, I am passing the control to the Toastmaster of our meeting, to Nataly Parubocha. Please, Nataly, it's your turn.
First, let me unmute myself and greet you everyone here. I'm really glad that all of you guys came here today to share your experiences, share your emotions, and to practice English public speaking together. And probably you have seen, some of us have seen what is our meeting devoted to, but I'm going to show you the first piece of my presentation. And it is going to be, of course, about Ukraine and Romania and about those things in common we have. And before I start telling you one of my facts, I have gathered some facts that we have in common and inquired a lot of interesting things, learned a lot of interesting things about our countries. Before that, I would like to remind you and tell you about our structure for today, because our clubs have pretty different structures. They are similar, but there are some differences. For instance, Timisoara Club has their every meeting had their session of general evaluator. There's general evaluator at every meeting, and general evaluator introduces all the evaluators. Today, as we are mixing our agendas, general evaluator introduces only technical team at the beginning and introduces all the evaluators during the evaluation session and gives her evaluation. So after the two short sessions about our clubs, about our countries, by our members, diligent members of our clubs. We will have that introduction session of the general evaluator, then two speeches are going, one speech of the member of the Timisoara speakers, another speech by Dnipro Hills member, and then we are going to have a really special table topic session. We're not having, Dnipro Hills is not having general table topics evaluator and the online meetings. We evaluate each other right away. So 2 minutes speech, and after that we are picking someone from the audience to speak for 1 minute and to evaluate the person who has just have delivered her or his table topics speech. Then after the table topics session, we will have the evaluation session, and after the evaluation session we will have winners of the table topics session announced, and then the meeting is over. And after the meeting, it's not over, because we usually having table topics after table topics, but not table topics, but something more relaxed. We have unofficial part after the official meeting, that is the after party. So stay with us for the after party to just exchange your thoughts and relax and have fun together. So having said all of that, I'm ready to pass control to our first presenter about Timisoara city and about the country of Romania, and it is Enikő Mózes. And please, the stage is yours. We are ready and happy to listen and to watch probably what are you going to tell us. The stage is yours, and huge round of applause, of course.
Thank you, Nataly. My name is Enikő Mózes. I am a test member since the beginning, and I'm also Vice President Education. I prepared for you a short presentation about our country and our city, of course, and some information about our club, just a peek. And if you want to see or hear more information, we gladly have you here in Timisoara or in Romania. So let's start, just a second. Okay, short check. Did you see my screen?
Yes,
we did.
Okay, awesome. So Romania is the largest country in the southern eastern of Europe and the 20th largest country in Europe, having around 240 square kilometers. Capital and largest city in Romania, it's Bucharest. It's followed by Cluj-Napoca, Iași, and Timisoara, of course. The terrain is distributed roughly equally between mountains, hills, and plain, and the Carpathian Mountains dominate the center of Romania with 14 big mountains, reaches about 2,000 meters, and the highest is the Moldoveanu Peak.
Enikő, I'm sorry to interrupt, but your presentation, I think it's stuck.
No, it's not stuck. It's not stuck.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you, but it's not stuck. I present you the flag of Romania, and also I selected some of the nicest pictures that we can present you today, but of course there are more pictures relevant to Romania, so I'm kindly inviting you to see them in the near future. Additionally, the Danube River forms a large part of the border with Serbia and Bulgaria and flows back into the Danube Delta, which is the second largest and best preserved delta in Europe, and the Biosphere Reserve Biodiversity of World Heritage Site. Romania, it's also so you can see a lot of monasteries with the medieval churches of Moldavia, Bran Castle, as everybody knows, for the Dracula movies, Black Sea, of course, and hope you just did. The Danube Delta with the wildlife, which I highly recommend if you have the opportunity to see it. Then some other sightseeing monasteries, this time on the other side of the country, Maramureș, the castle in Sinaia where our king lived, some awesome sights that you can see during spring and also autumn, and the castle of Corvin people. Some comments about Timisoara. It's nicknamed Little Vin and the City of Rose, and it's known for his large historical monuments and 36 parks and green spaces. Timisoara has an active cultural scene due to 3 state theaters. Here in Timisoara, we have the only theater where we have plays in Romanian, in German and Hungarian. We have the opera, the Philharmonic, and the other cultural institution. Because Timisoara is a multicultural city and it's a home of 20 ethnic groups and 18 religion denominations, we had the opportunity to be European capital of culture, along with cities of Veszprém, Hungary, and Elsefina, Greece. That happened last year in 2023, which gave us the opportunity to see a lot of pieces, a lot of theaters, concerts, which maybe we'd not have the opportunity. Sorry, back. This is a picture from these days. Why it's important? Because today it's Palm Sunday. Next week in Romania we will have the Easter holiday. But more important, this is a picture of our current location where we are having our hybrid meetings. Some short introduction also about TESS. Was started in 2020, 14th of February. Our meetings are Tuesday, starting 19:30 p.m. We are weekly meetings, having it hybrid or online. So if you want to join us, we are very welcoming you. Members across United States, Italy, Germany, UK, and also different cities in Romania. And what I am telling proudly is that our catchword is teamwork, because we are working together. Some of the accomplishments of Timisoara English speakers. After presenting the officers, you can see some of us in the meeting today. We had the Club Networking Award Silver in 2021 and Gold last year. So as you see, we are open to have common meetings every time, not only for the award. Biggest accomplishment to our club, even though we are a young club, we are having experienced member, is that our colleague Iulia Semenescu won the evaluation contest in 2022 at district level. And of course, I hope you received the ribbons this year. I will leave you with a quote by Henry Ford. Coming together is a beginning, staying together it's a progress, and working together it's a success. Thank you very much.
Huge round of applause to Enikő. And now it's time to know something about Kyiv and about Ukraine. And I'm happy to invite here the presenter from the Ukrainian side, who is Lesia Yurchyshyn. The round of applause, and let's watch what do we have here now.
Hello, everyone. Actually, it was a big pleasure to hear from Enikő such a great information about Romania and about Timisoara. Now I really wanted to visit this city one day. And just to continue the role, about Ukraine, we also can see where Ukraine is situated and what a really big country we are in Europe. And our total area and our population also shows how big we are and what our attitude to the people who live in our country, because our indigenous peoples among Ukrainians, it's Crimean Tatars, it's also Karim and Krimchuks, and we really a lot of shows a lot of tolerance to different nationalities, to different ethnic groups, and to different religions. That's why Ukraine is a very good place in case you wanted to live or you wanted to go on further. About Ukraine, also what you can know about us, it's Chernobyl. Actually, just 2 days ago, we commemorate the Day of Victims. Also, Ukrainians vyshyvanka, and I believe in Romanian you have something very similar to this. Some boxing and football and songs contest where we continue to present us to the world. And I believe you also should know about this deep meaning in our coat of arms. It's freedom, it's voля in Ukrainian, and now I just presented it to you how it shows in our state symbol. Also about the history, just few words. It's a coin of one of our kings, Volodymyr the Great, from 10th century, and you see the same symbol, and you understand that if in 10th century we already have our own coin, so it's also shows our poverty at the times. And during some political formations through ages, we started from Kievan Rus to Cossacks, so some events at the beginning of the 20th century, and even in Carpathian Mountains. And if you wanted to just to keep in mind how old our country are and our name is, we really have the date. The oldest recorded mention of the word Ukraine, and just to comparing what we already have in Ukraine and what we had in some of neighboring country. It's one of memes which shows us how propaganda works and how we should work again this propaganda. About a few other things from Ukraine, I just wanted to show you a very beautiful video to encourage you also to visit us when it will be much more safety for all of you. It's some views of our rivers, of our mountains, of our ancient architecture, buildings. It's Lviv, also Kyiv. Also, I believe we will see some another cities. For example, it's Chernivtsi. It's actually very close to Timisoara and Romania as well. Our ancient castles, our modern cities as well. And also the churches. It's something we are always rely on, because Ukraine was the country which was baptized, and just also shows this Christianity to the world, to the east of Europe, and some emphasis of this churches. For example, it was built in 11th century and was rebuilt in later. There are a lot of different architecture styles which combine in St. Sophia's Cathedral and also St. Sophia's Bell Town, and it's one of our sign of UNESCO region, and that's why I'll always put some intentions to this, because our culture now under under the risk of being destroyed. That's why we also appeal to UNESCO and to all other organizations just to keep our culture, our heritage live as we can. About Kyiv as well, wanted to show you the ancient map of Kyiv. It was how our main city, our capital, looks in 10th century. Yeah, it was river Dnipro, one of the biggest river in Ukraine. Also, we see a lot of buildings, churches, and a lot of gates. It was like the mountains, the hills, and at the bottom of the hill, near the river, there was also some. There are also some others people live. And to continue this topic, I wanted to emphasize that when very often some even Ukrainians messed up with the names of our clubs, because we named Dnipro Hills Toastmasters clubs, and we also in Ukraine have a town named Dnipro, but the name of our club was given by one of our founders. We have the story at our official website, yeah, that in 2002, Native American who was in Kyiv just created our club, and he was so enchanted by Dnipro Hills, by hills of the Dnipro, by Kyiv, that he decided to name our club Dnipro Hills. So now we have Dnipro Hills as a club who is currently located in Kyiv, but we have in-person meetings each Sunday, and once per month we continue to hold our online or hybrid meetings, because we have a lot of members and a lot of fellows throughout the world, and for us once per month it's also a good chance to see everyone and to keep our relationship, to keep our sympathy and empathy to each other. And I'm very happy that today we have another great meeting with another good fellow club, Timisoara English speakers. So thanks to your idea, and thanks to all of us to organizing such a joint event. Nataly, it's your turn now.
It's my turn to give you a huge round of applause to both of you guys who presented those great presentations, and we know more about our cities and about our countries. Thank you, Enikő, and thank you, Lesia. And yes, while I was listening to you, I realized that everything I have prepared is already have been said. No, of course, I'm joking. I was trying to find something in common between our cities and between our countries. So let us see what have I found. First of all, I will show you that beautiful slide you have already seen before that. And what's the first thing I have found? There's about our cities, and what do we have in our cities that is also alike? There are those squares in both cities. There's the Liberty Square in Timisoara. You might see it with those beautiful buildings, historical buildings, with those monuments that looks really nice. And what do we have in Kyiv? We also have the, I'm sorry. We also have the Independence Square in Kyiv, Liberty Square in Timisoara, and the Independence Square in Kyiv. So also beautiful buildings, a lot of space, those interesting monuments, so something I like. And what we would also like to have in Kyiv very soon, that's what you guys in Timisoara already have. And I'm going to show you that in a minute or in a few seconds. You already have Victory Square. So we have had that Victory Square, but it was named after another victory. And we are really struggling, and we are really looking forward to having this Victory Square that is devoted to our present victory. Having said all of that, I'm ready to pass control to the member of the Timisoara English Speakers Club, to the participant on the agenda, who we usually do not have at Dnipro Hills at this part of the meeting, because it is the introduction of the evaluators. And I'm happy to invite here Enikő Mózes, who is going to introduce our technical team, our general evaluator. This stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Natalie, again. I missed you, so I came back again to tell you some facts. So what is the purpose of the introduction of the evaluators at the beginning of the meeting is that every guest knows what it's the name of that person who is evaluating you, your grammar or your time, why it's important, and what are the importance of these roles for the club and also for the members. So that's why we introduced this introduction at the beginning, let's say. So let's start with the speech. As a general evaluator, of course, it's a great job in the meeting, and you cannot do that by yourself. So today I have two teams following me. One, it's the speech evaluators, who they will introduce the purpose of the speaker's speech, and then the technical evaluators team. So I would like to ask Eric to present his role during the meeting and what is Daiana's speech's objective. A big round of applause for Eric.
So I will be evaluating Oleksandr's speech, his experience as a protege, and giving him feedback, both positive and otherwise, constructive objectives in the speech, and look forward to listening to it. Thank you.
Eric, just a small comment. You will evaluate Daiana's speech, and Marius will evaluate Oleksandr's speech. Marius, please present your role.
Okay.
Not a problem. We get used to it.
Hey. Thank you, Enikő. Good day, everyone. Happy to be here. Today, I have the pleasure to be a speech evaluator for our dear colleague, Oleksandr Myronchuk. He's on the educational path, Persuasive Influence, Level 2, Project 3, Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. And as the title gives it, the purpose of the speech is to have a general idea of how Toastmasters envisions mentoring And on the specific objective will be to have a glimpse of his experience as a protege. Based on this, he will present us a speech who can include one of the stories or experiences or even conclusions that he drew out of the Toastmastering mentoring experience. So I'm happy to see what he prepared for us. And on the last session of our meeting, the evaluation part, I'll come back with my report and give you tips and tricks. Until then, back to you. Happy Toastmastering, everyone.
Thank you very much, Marius. Now let's see the second evaluators. We are calling them technical evaluators because their feedbacks help us grow as a member in Toastmasters, but also in our real life. Now I would like to ask Călin Gîlea to present his role and why it's important during a Toastmaster meeting. Big round of applause for Călin.
Thank you very much, Enikő. Today I will be your counter. Although it may seem it's not important, it is very important. And Toastmasters pays attention to three different criteria when we are speaking in public. One of these criteria is verbal fluency. So my role today will be to watch over your verbal fluency. I am taking some notes, but more exactly, verbal fluency is the number of us, pauses, clutch words, like so, okay, and repetitions. Everything that is between you and your verbal fluency. I would prepare a short report, and near the end of this meeting, I will be presenting you how many us, pauses, clutch words, and repetitions you used.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Călin. Now we would like to go to our grammarian of the meeting, Dmytro Nazarenko. Dmytro, please present your role and tell us what you will do during the meeting today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for pronouncing my name almost correctly. My name is Dmytro Nazarenko, and I'm your grammarian for today's meeting. What does a grammarian do here at Toastmaster? Well, the drill is that I am here to keep an eye on your vocabulary and grammar, to help you improve your English, and be particular with that in a good way. Because, as they used to say in ancient Rome, even emperors obey grammar. What the grammarian also does is to help you improve your English one word of the day at a time. And I will proceed straight to that. The word of the day that I decided to choose for today is intersection, which is in line with the feel of the meeting, in my opinion. As you can see, the intersection is the point or an area where two or more things intersect, so cross, meet, or join. And well, this slide that I've prepared here demonstrates to some extent the versatile uses of the word. So first of all, the most often this word is used to describe a place where two or more roads or streets meet. I'm pretty sure that is the meaning that you are most aware of. So you could say that at the intersection of these two streets there is a busy traffic junction. Oh, we've been talking quite a bit about the history of our countries. So you could say that. So you could talk a bit about the intersection of trade routes, like the Silk Road, which was a crucial intersection of trade between East and West, and it is a trade route that did cross the that used to cross what is now Eastern Europe. And there is also a more figurative usage, the figurative usage of the word, like the intersection of the cultures of Ukraine and Romania. And I also wanted to provide an example that is relevant to our modern times. You could say that the intersection of science and ethics leads to discussions about the recent technological advancements, most notably discussions about the recent developments of AI. And that is actually, well, all and that is actually all I have to say for the word of the day. As you have already understood, the word of the day is intersection, but you could also use the verb to intersect. And that is it. Back to you, Enikő.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Hope everyone will intersect during the meeting in various occasions. Now, last but not least, our timer of the meeting, Robert. As a timer, please present your role and let us know why it's important this during a Toastmaster meeting.
Thank you very much, Enikő, and it's wonderful to be here today, where these two clubs have intersected and have come together in this virtual space. And yes, as you can see up here, I am this evening the timer for this meeting. And the timer role is not just to sit here and to see how long people go, but it's also for everybody to take note of if they've spoken too much or if they haven't spoken enough, because all our lessons in Toastmasters have a specific time, and to pass the lesson, we have to stick with the time. And it's always good to use our time correctly, as it's one of the only constant things in the world that will never stop and it will always go forward. So this evening I will be today, I'm used to having Toastmaster meetings in the evening. I will be measuring everybody's time, like I said, and I will be using these three colours behind me. The green will be for the minimum time, the yellow will be for the optimum time, and red will be the maximum time. The speakers have between 5 and 7 minutes, so 5 minutes green, 6 minutes yellow, 7 minutes red. Both speech evaluators have between 2 and 3 minutes, so 2 minutes green, 2:30 yellow, and 3 red. The A counter and timers, the A counter and me as a timer have between 1 and 2 minutes, so 1 minute 30 and 2. Grammarian for this evening will have between 3 and 4 minutes, so 3 minutes green, 3:30 yellow, and 4 red. And for the table topics, we have between 1 and 2 minutes, so I will show green at 1, yellow at 1.5, and 2 I will show red. Just to know, if you see the red, then just think about closing up your speech or evaluation. Thank you very much, and I'll come back later on with my report. Microphone back to you, Ellen.
Thank you very much, Robert, and all the evaluators. At the last part of the meeting, we will be back with an evaluation, not only for the speakers, but also for us. I would like to remind our evaluators that we will evaluate the speech and not the speaker. And also myself, I will be back at the end, a general evaluation of the entire meeting. Kindly ask you open your cameras. It's friendlier when the speaker has smiley faces in front of them. If you have important stuff to do, close your camera for 1 second, 2 seconds, but then please turn it back again. So, Nataly, back to you. Hear each other later. Have a great meeting, everyone.
Thank you very much, Enikő, and thank you for reminding about that, turning on the camera and turning it off for not really a long time. Thanks very much. And it is really important because now we are going to have our first part of the meeting that is prepared speeches meeting. But before that, some facts from me about intersections of our two cities and our two countries. Now I'm going to talk namely about our cities, about Timisoara and Kyiv, and you will see now what in common do we have, what else do we have in common, and that is about how progressive our cities are and how progressive our cities were more than 100 years ago, because on the verge of the 19th and 20th centuries, our cities were in the first cities in their countries. We were the parts of where the first tram appeared. So Timisoara was the city where the first tram was in the country Romania was the part of. And let me show you the tram, the ancient tram, an old tram in Kyiv. And that is, those who are in Kyiv would probably even see what is written on the tram. It's Svetoshin, that is the western part of the city. At that time, that was some village near the city, and now it is the western part of the city. That's ancient tram of Kyiv. So that is one more intersection we really have. From the first tram, we are moving to the first speaker. And our today's first speaker is the member of Timisoara English Speakers, and it is Daiana Foros with her project of the third level of presentation mastery, and the project is persuasive speaking, and the speech is entitled Really Persuasive Way. Just do it.
Hello, Toastmasters and dear guests. 5 years ago, I joined Toastmasters organization, and I became the vice president on education of the club. I still don't know what convinced me to do so, but I had 5 months experience in the club when I was looking at the club officers like gods. Oh, they know so much. Took them probably years to accumulate all this knowledge. I will never be able to do this. And the train of thoughts continued until June elections, when my mentor asked me, Daiana, do you want to become the vice president of education of this club? I replied, I do. Just like in a wedding, not having the slightest idea what I'm supposed to do. On the first day of my term, I took the list of roles and responsibilities. Schedule your club members' speeches. Verify the completion of the project. Serve as a resource for questions about Toastmasters Pathways learning experience. Organize the club speech contest. Coordinate the club mentor program. Sounds so easy. But when I started to work with the club members, well, let me tell you that dark clouds started to gather on my sunny sky. Schedule speeches. Oh, I don't have time this week. I don't have time this week either, and on and on. I was trying to find out why they are not willing to make a speech, so I worked with their mentors to find out and motivate them to start to prepare for a speech. Completion of the project. Some members held their speeches, but were not organized enough and disciplined to tick the project on the platform. Tons of messages and calls. Just do it, please, just do it. And I was looking desperately how my term is coming to its end and my DCP points far, far away. Coordinate the club mentor program. Well, here it was another story. Either the mentor was unhappy that the mentee is not moving, or the mentee was unhappy that the mentor was not available, or both of them unhappy because I assigned them to each other. Phew. I was about to quit several times, but every time I said, come on, Daiana, one more time, just do it. Eventually, I learned a lot in that term. First of all, I learned critical and strategic thinking and planning by putting together the education plan. I learned to evaluate individuals' performance by talking to each individual club members. I learned problem solving by having one-on-ones with all the mentors in the club and the officers available. And I learned some successful mentoring techniques by approaching the mentors in my club, but also the mentors available worldwide. You know, we are a huge organization. And I learned small group organization by preparing the club contests. You see, I learned so many things in just one term of Vice President of Education. And I had 2 more proposals as a secretary and as especially the president of the club. I had all those fears at the beginning of the term. And all those laughs, you see, it was not so difficult at the end of each term. Because every officer role that I took, I learned something new. I learned critical thinking. I learned organization and problem solving. I learned positive group collaboration. But most of all, I learned how to lead a team and how to be part of a team. And that list can go on. And I only had 3 roles of officers. In the search of something new, now I'm aiming the VPPR role, Vice President on Public Relations, because my journey is not over by far. I still can learn and listen to this. Marketing and promotion, social and public media, developing media relationship, writing press releases, networking, and relationship building. How awesome that sounds. Honestly, I have no idea how it works, but I know that in our organization, we have plenty of resources that will help me along my term. I know it will not be perfect, but I know one thing, that I will do my best. And I will laugh one more time. You see, it was not so difficult at the end of that term. My dears, in 3 years of holding an officer role, I learned one important thing, to turn my fears into teachers. Yes, you heard it right, into teachers. Because every time I was missing a skill, I looked, I researched, and I asked the ones who knew. And this is how I got better and better and better. And I realized that the less I know, the more chances I have to become better. And that is absolutely amazing. Our fears will ignite the spark to act, because the worst thing that could happen to us is not to do, to stay in that little safe place. But you know what that means? That means to stop evolving. So, if you consider to taking an officer role, don't think twice. Just do it. Thank you.
Huge round of applause to Daiana. Thank you very much. And as soon as you told that you were VP of Education, I understand everything. I understood everything because I'm also VP of Education. Okay, we have a minute of silence. Please, dear timer, show us red screen after the minute is over. You might see then the link in our chat. That is the link for providing the feedback to our speakers. So guys, you have a minute, please provide some pieces of advice and some words of admiration to our first speaker, Daiana. The minute is yours, guys. Thank you, Robert. The minute is over. Thank you, everyone. So save that link if you haven't finished. Even you're providing your feedback, you might do it later, a bit later. And now let me show you some other piece of intersections between our two cities. Now we're talking about cities. There will be some facts about countries. So both of our cities have rivers. That is not really surprising because many ancient old cities have rivers because they are built on the intersections of the ways of the tradeways. Well, our cities are also those intersections of the tradeways between west and east, right? And that is actually the intersections between our cities. I've showed you the beautiful Bega River. Now I'm ready to show you another beautiful river that is in Kyiv. That is Dnipro River. That is the river our club is called. The hills of the river our club is called. You might see those beautiful hills and big river Dnipro. And what else do we have about Kyiv? Those who are in Kyiv might know that this river, not only the intersection between the north and south, between the west and east, also it is still the trade way, because Ukraine is a huge country, our territory is really large, and the southern parts of our cities is an agriculture region. And there are really tasty, very tasty watermelons being grown there. Huge, 5 kilos, 10 kilos, 15 kilos. So sweet and tasty. And they are being brought by Dnipro River to many other Ukrainian cities from the southern part by a big, huge cargo ship. Over 2 previous years, it's not really happening because of what's happening in our Ukraine in that region. But hope very soon we are going to have that restored and taste those tasty watermelons. And now I'm ready to pass control of the stage to our next speaker, the speaker from the Dnipro Hills Club, who is Oleksandr Myronchuk. He is presenting his second level speech. That's the speech of the persuasive influence path. And the project is Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. And the speech is called My Experience as a Protege. Oleksandr Myronchuk, welcome. The stage is yours.
A while back, I became interested in learning English. Of course, I needed a community to keep my English skills sharp and engage a live English conversation with equally enthusiastic learners, or perhaps exchange languages with native speakers. I started visiting a range of events, all aimed at boosting speaking skills. Every event was distinct, characterized by its own unique vibe and mix of participants, offering engaging avenues for communication and endless learning opportunities. Then I discovered Toastmasters. My fellows described it as a club where you have the opportunity to deliver speeches from a stage. I thought to myself, what an interesting idea to become a public speaker. This is an entirely new level of what I even wanted to do. I attended a meeting and was surprised by the charisma of people there. As the attendees were gathering at the beginning, they effortlessly and naturally initiate conversation with each guest, creating a special atmosphere of belonging. They came the prepared speeches, where speakers demonstrated their speaking skills, and they commendably used tone, speed, and volume to their advantage. Their gestures and emotions were so well expressed that it helped me understand each moment of their speeches. They didn't just deliver their speech, they interact with the audience, asked questions, looked into your eyes, and they were talking directly to you and made you ponder every hypothetical question they posed. I found myself thinking, I would like to try this. Now, let's journey to time when I was a protege. What aspect of mentorship held the most significance for you? Allow me to share my experience. I embarked on this journey with what is arguably the most pivotal speech in any speaker's career, the icebreaker. Do you recall these overwhelming emotions? Standing on stage, an entire auditorium hanging onto your every word, and you're there to deliver your most impactful speech. Subsequently, exploring other roles and deliver various speeches, then came day of competition. I thought to myself, no way, this competition isn't for me. I am not there yet. But mentors, they had a different turn. They were saying, you can do it. It's not about being the best. It's about doing your best. Their talk worked like magic. Next thing I know, I was on the stage, ready to give it my all. So, motivation is everything. Another important part, for sure, for every protege is improving speeches. Have you ever written a speech, prepare your performance, and felt that something was off? Sometimes you need just a small tweak to perfect your speech. That's where a mentor's advice proves invaluable. Switch up this sentence. Lift your voice here. Show this part with your hand and put some heart into this bit. After implementing these changes, you'll encounter a surge of confidence from your Toastmaster experience, totally ready to break a leg. My experience with Toastmasters has been truly enriching. It's not just about improving my public speaking skills, it's about facing challenges, learning from feedback, and continuously growing. This journey has strengthened my confidence and broadened my horizons. It's been an exciting path, and I'm looking forward to what lies ahead. Back to you.
Huge round of applause. Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, both speeches about Toastmasters. That is pretty great and personal experiences. So please take a minute for sharing your pieces of advice and some words of admiration with Oleksandr. Please find the link in our chat and take a minute, please. And please, dear timer, show the red screen after that. The minute is over. Thanks, everyone. And what can I show you again? Another intersections for our, again, cities are the sconces, those open-air museums of folk architecture. That's the skansen in Timisoara, and let me show the skansen in Kiev. That is called Pyrogiv, the village of Pyrogiv. It's in the suburb of the city. So they even look alike. The only what difference that is the style of embroidery on the towels. And having said all of that, I'm ready to share the stage, to part the stage to our next participant, and to the person who is going to lead our second part of the meeting, that is the table topics session. And I'm happy to invite here our table topics master, who is for today our Liudmyla Kushch, who is joining us from Ireland. So Luda, the stage is yours.
Oh, hello everyone. Happy to see you guys. Do you hear me clearly? Oh yeah, well. So today we're talking about Toastmasters, the way of people and what makes you excited. Yes. So I'd like to proceed with my part. Basically saying for newcomers and for those who remind, if you wanna become a professional public speaker, there are two ways. First, like you are preparing your speeches or do some roles. But the second one, which I like the most, it's unprepared speaking, which you have to do having just a couple of seconds to get your ideas together. And this is what really shows you as a person who can concentrate in a moment, revealing everything. Like that's why today you're gonna get questions from me with a really short time of speaking to think about before you start speaking. Actually, your speech within 2 minutes should have 3 parts as a normal speech. I mean, beginning, middle part, and conclusion. What's more, guys, if you don't forget to use the word of the day intersection, somehow, it would be wonderful. What's more, after each of you, after every one of you will have finished, you will get straight evaluation from some of our members, which intends really to show you how good you were and what can be, you know, just a bit made, will be made better. Yes, and what else? Yeah, and at the end of the meeting, we will vote for the best table topic speaker and for the best evaluator as well. So I think that's it. And let me announce the topic of my table topic session. Actually, it is something which is the main theme in everyone's life. And that is something that influences all decisions we make, whether they are big or small, important or not. This is the key to build a happy family life, a good career, and strong relationship. What do you think is that? What can it be? Any ideas?
Communication?
No.
Attention.
Look deeper. No.
Education.
It influences education, but no.
Communication.
All right. Well, guys, we're gonna talk about our values, about our core values. which are basis and fundamental stuff, and which really influence everything. So I had this topic 3 years ago when I started Teenager Speaking Club. Hopefully we did it with some kind of religious organization, and the topic was fantastic. 2 weeks ago, I came up to the idea that it's a good thing to talk about. So with my teenagers in the future of Ukraine, we discovered 9 core values. If it's possible to demonstrate the list somehow, I would be just glad. Okay, can I, Natalia, demonstrate the picture?
Yes, you can share the screen. Just put the picture.
Oh yeah, nice. Oh yeah, nice. Yes, I hope. Internet is a bit slow, but I hope I can do it. 1 second. Oh, terribly slow, I'm afraid. Well, so let me read from my list. Yes, well, I'm gonna announce you the core values, and I'm gonna ask each speaker to choose one which is the most appeals to you, to say why, and to give you live examples. Okay, I'll read the list twice, so you won't skip the opportunity. So here they are: empathy, honesty, humility, kindness, loyalty, responsibility, compassion, spirituality, and integrity. One more time: empathy, honesty, humility, kindness, loyalty, responsibility, compassion, spirituality, and integrity. So guys, within 2 minutes, I encourage you to choose one which appeals the most to your personality, which influenced your life the most and still does. Give your opinion why it's so important, and couple of your life examples. So, who would like to start?
May I?
Yes, go on, please.
Okay, humility. And I'm going to give you a story that I read yesterday, a true story on Wiki, about a guy in Australia called Cliff Young, I think it is. And he was 61 and he entered the ultra marathon, the first ultra marathon of Sydney. This made me laugh a lot. I hope you're going to see it, the funny side of it. He entered the ultra marathon for Sydney, and he turned up. He's a sheep farmer, and he turned up in his overalls and his boots. All the other athletes are there in their athletic gear and their running shoes. This is a 500-mile race, and they're all in their running shoes and getting ready to go. He's there in his overalls and work boots, and no one told him anything about how this race works. So he's there just thinking, well, I'll just have a go. I'll have a little go at running this race. And he was obviously quite fit from rounding up his sheep. He told the newspaper reporters that he sometimes runs for 2 or 3 days solid without sleep, rounding his sheep up. Anyway, he starts running and he's way behind. He's loping run like this, not a proper run. And by the end of the first day, he's miles, kilometers behind the rest. And they stopped to sleep for 6 hours. But no one told him he can sleep. So he didn't know he could stop. So he just carried on running through the night. And then he carried on running continuously through 5 days. And everybody else kept stopping for sleeping. But he didn't know he could. So there he is in his work group, and he's miles ahead of everybody else, just loping along like this, and they're all running properly. And by the time the race finishes in 5 days, it took him just 5 days to do the 500 miles. He won the race at 61 years of age, because he didn't really realize he had to ask what he could do. He had humility. But he won by 10 straight hours. The second competitor came in at 10 hours later. And it was just, oh, well, I just remembered like I'm rounding up my sheep. I thought, well, let's pretend I'm rounding my sheep up and just lope along. And he won the inaugural Sydney ultramarathon. Now, if that's not humility, it makes me laugh. He's in his work clothes, loping along, work boots. They've got running shoes. 10 hours he won by. That's humility.
Great example, so touching. Thanks a lot, Kevin. To be first foot to start, yes. Guys, let's give a round of applause to our professional public speaker and really good friend and lovely member of Dnipro Hills. So, who would like to evaluate Kevin's speech? Just right now, without preparation. We're not at school. I'm not your teacher. I won't say this or that, so please volunteer.
I'll evaluate Kevin here while we're here.
Thanks. Oh, thanks, Eric.
So first of all, we give Kevin kudos for jumping right into it here and kind of getting his topic up front, because I'm thinking about one that I would talk about over here, and it took me a little bit. So he's a little quicker at the switch than I am. So I'll give him credit certainly for that. And I love the way Kevin has a lot of enthusiasm when he speaks. Like everything is exciting to him with Kevin. It could be like the most boring topic in the world, basically. Not that this one was that, but it could be the most boring topic. And, you know, it can sound exciting with interest in the voice and the tone in which you approach it, that this is something exciting to say. This is kind of really important. And this is something you may not know about, and you may want to learn about this. And that's what comes across in his voice. And that's a big part of success in public speaking. So, you know, I think the example he gave really spoke for itself, but just take the note of how the enthusiasm sort of stole the show on that. And that kind of give you a good intro to how to be a successful speaker. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. A big round of applause. We're helping each other to become better speakers while we're giving our evaluations. That's why it's really important. Thanks a lot. Eric, and what about you? Would you like to tell us what's your important, like the most important core value or something which is really important for you, please?
I have always thought empathy is something that is recognized as an important core value, and I think it's incredibly important. So for those that don't know, I have a technical degree in software, but I also have a master's degree in conflict management. So I wanted to balance out my skills a little bit more. And I think a lot of conflict in the world can be reduced with empathy, because no matter how small or large the conflict is, a lot of it, when we look at conflict resolution and solution, it's sort of bringing the parties together to raise their interests and goals, and then get them to communicate with each other to work through these types of issues. So when you think of what empathy really is, it's trying to understand that other person's interests and goals, their objectives, before you speak and take action, because a lot of times we take action assuming everybody's got the same knowledge bubble that we do, the same things that we've learned. And a lot of times they don't. So that's why you want to talk to somebody and understand who they are as a person first before you judge some of their actions. Some of it might be that they just didn't have the understanding of things, and you can use that as a sharing moment for them, for example, to teach what you know. And avoid these challenging situations before you understood that other person. And the reason it's so important is because we have so many terms and idioms to use for that. We say putting ourselves in someone else's shoes, for example, or understand it from their perspective. We have a lot of ways to say that because it is that important. So with all of that said, empathy would be the top on my list out of that. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. A big round of applause. Yes. All right, I would like to invite a volunteer to evaluate Eric's speech. Today we started with really two powerful guys. Oh, I see, Timur. Okay, let's give Timur the floor.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I hope you can hear me. Eric made a great speech and he demonstrated skills of a professional speaker, who he really is, because he appears very confident. He gave a very structured answer and shared with us very valuable thoughts about empathy. I totally agree that this is a key skill in modern world and in general for the humanity. However, maybe you could have not revealed the secret right away, that you gave the answer in the first very second of your speech. Maybe you could keep some intrigue and tell a story, and then it would go out from the story that empathy is the key skill. Other than that, your speech was great and I enjoyed it.
Okay, thanks so much. A round of applause. And not to change tradition, Timur, yours value would be next. Show us a story, please.
Well, have we had the honesty value? Well,
not yet.
Okay. Now our country is in a very difficult situation. But on the global scale, I think each country is, and each person is too. Because if we look at how will we leave this world, one day maybe it will happen, and let's hope it will happen after long time in future. But when we leave this world, what can we take with us? Can we take our money? For sure, no. What our relatives can do for us? They can only help us go away lightly and give us a good funeral. How about maybe our glory, our job, our skills? We'll be substituted at our job, and people after some time will not remember us that well. However, what we can take with us to the other world is our soul. How about thinking about this a little bit? A lot of people, even our politicians, some guys, they even earn money on war. They steal from the fighting soldiers who are protecting their country. We have had corruption for 30 years of our independence time. And before that too, and I'm sure it was also in the Soviet Union, greedy, mean, and dishonest people have always been there next to us. However, each person can make their own choice. Do we need money? Do we need to improve our life here and now? Not looking at the circumstances and how it influences others. Or we can think about our soul, and we can think about how will you just look into people's eyes? What would your parents tell? What would your ancestors tell about your deeds? And when the war started, a lot of people left Kiev because there were explosions here. It was not clear if the city will stand tomorrow. And a lot of people, for example, they left their pets. My girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, she picked up a hamster whom somebody left just in the near the flat, in the corridor. People don't care, and I thought, what would I do? I have 2 guinea pigs. People have cats, dogs, and could I leave them? Taking care of my own security? For sure no, because my honesty, my conscience is something much more precious than even my life. Because it is something that I will take to the other world, as everyone. That's why honesty for me is a key value.
Thanks so much. So touching. I didn't leave Kiev because my cat had 4 kitten babies. Like, yes, I couldn't have imagined myself putting those old stuff on the evacuation train. So totally agree. Well, I would encourage someone to evaluate Timur's speech, please. Ladies.
I'd like to speak if I can.
Yes, sure.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth. I'm a member of TESS here in Timisoara, American, living in Romania for 4 years. Timur, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Please correct me if I did not. Congratulations on speaking impromptu on such a personal level and sharing with us something so deep and moving. I think it's really important also honesty and how you connected it to ethics and your soul and what it is that we take with us when we leave this earth, because we don't take the money. That's exactly correct. You gave some wonderful examples in your speech regarding honesty, regarding the importance of honesty, and also your guidelines for your core values in how honesty applies in your daily life. Congratulations on your speech. I would like to hear a little bit more of the word honesty. As you gave your evaluation of the previous speech, you suggested a surprise. And with your speech, you gave us that surprise. But also throughout the speech, I looked at my list here of our core values, and I had just maybe 1 or 2 moments that I forgot which core value we were talking about, because we were talking about really all of them together, and maybe honesty itself is just that high value, core value. So thank you for your speech. It was a pleasure to listen to.
Thanks so much, Elizabeth. So, would you like to share your value with us? We have taken humility, empathy, and honesty already.
I would love to. Thank you for the opportunity. I was first going to pick empathy, and then I was second going to pick honesty. So really, my answer lies at the intersection of empathy and honesty. And I believe that that is compassion. In order to be honest, you must have self-compassion. You must treat yourself with kindness, another core value here on our list. Because if we cannot be honest with ourselves, then how is it that we can identify places that we need growth? And how is it that we can celebrate ourselves for our achievements, for standing back up after our mistakes or failure? That is honesty. And in order to deal with honesty, we must have self-compassion. We must also have compassion for others, and this is where we find empathy. Again, we are talking about compassion at the intersection of empathy and honesty. Having empathy for others, putting ourselves in each other's shoes, as was spoken earlier, is such an important act of compassion for society, for our community, for our friends, for our family, and even for ourselves. Because empathy is what creates connection, and honesty is what enhances communication. So having these put together with self-compassion and compassion for others can really guide us and let our core values give us an opportunity to show up in life for other people. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Let's give a big round of applause. Oh, yes, you're totally right. Because while I was talking about compassion with my teenagers, we had first a bit of misunderstanding. And then with the help of dictionary and given our own examples, I was really happy that the future of Ukraine, our teenagers of 15 and 16, they are really into thinking about how to be successful, starting from the most important things, from the core values. So I would encourage someone to evaluate Elizabeth's speech. please, guys.
Dan, we cannot hear you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, everybody. I'm really proud to be here and really glad to see you guys. From saying you hello from Timisoara to Kiev, and kisses and hugs and sending you compassion. And thank you, Elizabeth, for reminding us what compassion is. I was curious about it and looked in the dictionary. Also, I really like you summarized all these important values here. But I would like to add, it is important also to know the meaning of the word. And in dictionary, it stresses out that compassion shows when we are seeing somebody or in a crisis. I would have liked to empathize on that part of the meaning of the word. But besides that, I really like the tone of your presentation. It was very positive, and you have a gift of, as I already told you, to send information. And I've learned in Toastmaster that the information arrives to us, it becomes a part of us when you have it together with emotion. So you are very good in wrapping it in emotions to facilitate the information to the people. So I'd like to congratulate you for your evolution into Toastmasters. It's fun. It's amazing that you are a colleague of ours, and I'm really curious when you'll be stopping or arriving with your work powers. Thank you, Elizabeth, for your speech and your motivation. And now I would like to speak about a core value that it's a core value also for my life. It's loyalty. Loyalty. Well, if compassion was when you see somebody in a crisis, loyalty is something that has been with us since the history. I mean, we were loyals like allies in a war. We were in a difficult situation, and the thing that kept us together, it was the loyalty to our values, to our core values, loyalty to us being humans. And this has brought us together even in the worst times, like a conflict. The sad part is that there are conflict between people just because there are some differences between the language we are speaking and the values we are having, because every war, I think it is something that somebody wants to impose that values on other people, or they want to take their properties. And loyalty has been actually I say, on this planet, there are not only people living here. I mean, there are a lot of creatures here. And as you can see, loyalty is not only a people characteristic. In a hive, for example, the bees are loyal to each other, to the queen. So loyalty is a much higher characteristic than us, the humans. But I think we are the only ones that have the power of understanding it, to describe it, to look further and deeper what does mean. It's not an instinct like in the animal world. So I would like to wrap up. I'm searching for Robert. I'm on yellow, yes. All the values, I like them, and it's difficult to choose from one of them, but loyalty is one of my favorite one because I believe in it and I'm applying it every day. And I'm inviting you also to pay attention to this and to start using it. And I would like to close not loyalty in extremist ideas, but loyalty in important idea that makes us humans. We have to make a difference. Not every time loyalty is a good thing. It has to come with other core values together to make the difference. Thank you.
Yes, thanks so much. Let's give a big round of applause. So we have a volunteer, Elizabeth. Would you like to evaluate Dan's speech, please?
Oh no, sorry, I was clapping.
It was, yeah, sorry, yeah, guys, You were talking already. Terribly sorry. So, I would like to invite someone to evaluate Dan's speech and show us how to give a good evaluation. What about our good Irish friend, Dec? Are you still here, dear Dec?
Of course I'm here.
Yeah, let me enjoy your Irish English and all the audience as well.
What would you like me to talk about?
I would like you to evaluate Dan's speech about loyalty.
Yeah, of course I will.
Thanks.
There's no point in me saying to Dan, you're wonderful, you're terrific, you're a marvelous speaker, you're excellent, you're all those great things we always say and waste 30 seconds. No, let's get to the core. Dan, I would say to improve, simplify. There's a great line in a recent film, which is everybody's quoting nowadays, is speak to me as if I'm a 6-year-old or a spaniel in the park. Very important when you speak nowadays. Because you're foreign to England or America, and you're not a natural English speaker, you make it all too complicated, it's hard. We have to concentrate too much to understand what you're saying. I would suggest to you speak in sentences and paragraphs. We read in sentences, full stop, period. We read in paragraphs, end of a thought. We read in chapters, end of a complete idea. And I would say to you finally, hands. Use your hands. We can't see them. They're all over the place. 6 inches or 10 centimeters from your face. Well, that's where to use your hands. And don't ever think about what your hands are doing, because your brain will tell your hands immediately. Okay? I hope that will help. Back to you, Madam Topic Chair.
Thank dear Dec, Grant, as usual. I've learned a new Irish word and I really love it. So, there are 3 qualities, and I would like someone to choose one of those. The last but not the least, responsibility, spirituality, or integrity. Oh, yes. Vitaly, are you ready? Your hand?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just going to try, if I may.
Yes, of course you may.
I would like to speak about spirituality, and for my opinion, the most valuable question about spirituality is who am I? Who am I really? Because yes, we can read that I'm a spirit and I have this body and I live in this body, and then maybe something happens after that and my spirit would go. But who am I really right now? And if I look honestly with integrity, I would see that usually I'm kind of feeling or emotion or just a thought. And what I really have is my body, my emotions, thoughts, and attention. And that's it. Really nothing. But if I look deeply, I can see that I can feel my attention and I can see my feeling and my thoughts. So what it means, I can see my body, I can see my hand. But can I see my emotion? For example, fear, where I feel my fear? Maybe in the chest. Okay. And then I can perceive and see that this fear give me some thoughts. Can I see it? Yeah, I can. Okay, so I have this attention. And the role of this attention goes somewhere. But what would happen if my attention would stay for a few minutes at the source of this attention? Maybe I would be able to see my body, my feelings, emotions, thoughts, everything, but I can be detached from it. Maybe this is who am I really. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Spirituality is one of my favorite ones. That's why, yes, we need the last person to evaluate, and thanks Vitaly for being so brave and for such grand ending of table topic session. We need one more person to evaluate Vitaly, and then there is a link to vote for the best table topic speaker and the best evaluator. So, who would like to evaluate Vitaly's short speech about spirituality, guys? Oh, you make me to be a teacher over and over. Yuri Boychuk, welcome, Dnipro Hills president.
Thank you, Luda. Okay, Vitaly, it was really intriguing because you asked a question. It made me think, who am I? Because I'm sure that everybody just asks this question to himself or to herself, who am I? Really, it's just such a profound question, really. And to use gestures, by the way, to deliver your ideas to us. And what I like that in my subjective opinion, that your speech had a structure, like an opening with the question, then your delivered are some thoughts about it. It's like a body, and then a conclusion. So in my subjective opinion, it was really good structured. What do you suggest? Maybe to use vocal variety, and that's it. It's in my subjective opinion, to be like, to underline some ideas with your voice and with your tone. That's everything about your speech. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Yuri. Thanks one more time, Vitaly. A big round of applause. You are a terrific audience, guys. I'm really happy and enjoying spending time with you, and the topic is of extremely importance. So, couple of minutes to vote for the best table topic speaker and the best evaluator. Yes, Natalia, would you like to add anything? That's it. Okay, and thanks so much for having me with you today. Yeah. Passing control to Madam Toastmaster.
Huge round of applause to our table topics master, Liudmyla. And yes, we're having 1 minute. Take some time to vote for the best table topics speaker and the best table topics evaluator. I know that usually at Timisoara English speakers, there are also other participants are being on the voting. Today we are having just table topics speaker and table topics evaluator. Please take your time. Choose the best one, the one who you consider the best one, and then let us proceed. So I have already voted. Hope you also have voted as well. Please take a bit more minutes for voting, more seconds for voting, and let us go on. And let me show you the next screen before we move on to the to the third part of the meeting, that is the evaluation session, and other intersections of our countries and our cities. Those are the national parks. There's the beautiful national park in 2 hours ride from Timisoara. You may see that's Gorge, as far as I can see, national park. It is beautiful and really nice. And the national park that it is already in the city of Kyiv, well, it is also 2 hours ride from some parts of the city, because Kyiv occupies a huge territory. It is Hlesivsky National Nature Park that is in the southern part of the city. You can ski there, cross-country skiing in winter. You can cycle there. There are a lot of walking routes. There are a lot of signs about all those birds and other animals that live in that forest. It is really beautiful. And now let me invite here again our today's really diligent and really devoted general evaluator, who is Enikő Mózes, who is, I'm definitely ready to invite everyone who is going to evaluate almost all of us here. And she is going to evaluate every one of us, including me, after that. So Enikő, the stage is yours. Huge round of applause.
Thank you very much, Nataly. As we know, Toastmasters is a big organization, and we are not learning only communication, we are learning also leadership, and everything that we are doing here has the purpose to develop our leadership skills. And one of the biggest conditions to evolve is to know how or where you are and where you want to go. And that's why it is important for us to be evaluated by our colleagues during the meeting. So pay attention to their evaluation, and even though you do not hear them saying something for you, you can find meaning for other evaluation during their speech. So I would like to ask Eric to come in front and present his evaluation for Daiana's speech. A big round of applause for Eric.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you, Daiana. First of all, Daiana, I want to give you an apology. I was a little dyslexic this morning and missed that I was evaluating you, and I should have known that because we usually evaluate the other club in these joint meetings. So, but I'm glad I got a chance to listen to your persuasive speaking, because it was very persuasive, and I think it could be used in actually playing this video to, some of the clubs, in terms of this recruitment season here for the leadership. So one thing that's really good is you picked a good timely topic. Sometimes we forget about that timeliness is very correlated to receptiveness as well. If you pick something that's currently in kind of the mainstream of where we're at in the cycle and the calendar, and that it's going to be received even more. So you gave a nice historical intro, gave us context to what you were going to talk about. And, the overcoming hurdles was kind of a central theme. You used a little humor too at the beginning when you mimicked some of the dialogue that was happening, a little bit of this fear dialogue, and, how you overcame that. That helped a lot. It loosens the tension because historical background can be a little bit dry, and that kept it, a little bit spicy. I loved a lot of the phrases you used here, like the dark clouds kind of forming, learning leadership, the less I know, the more chances to be better, fears as teachers, all really, really good, kind of action-packed with like lots of these. So that helps a lot in kind of the flavor of the speech and really keeping it interesting, that use of language. So you did really good job with that. You did a lot of kind of middle section of it, and the challenges of the leadership. This is where, so maybe it would work, maybe not, but at least one thing to think about for improvement. Since we are online, maybe something like a graphic about all these things that you had to consume at once. you know, like a word cloud, something like that may have been, may have kind of emphasized a little bit more with that. I don't know. I mean, something to think about anyway. And I liked how your just do it theme came in too. You took us through a nice transition. You kind of had, you associated, we empathized with you, going back to one of these value words of what you were going through over there. And you just kind of said, look, you know, this is the context switch I had right here. I'm just going to do these things. And this is actually cool that I don't know how to do some of these things, because sometimes we all feel that we have to know how to do everything. But what do we learn? It can also be a boring experience if we don't know everything. So you just sort of like took us into the right path with that. I think the receptiveness of taking that mentality. You gave good tools and tips. The only other last thing I'd say for a little improvement to an otherwise great speech, you looked at your notes a little bit. I was catching more. Maybe try to memorize it a little bit more up front. I looking at my notes because I just wrote them down here of what to give you, but you know, maybe memorize it just a little bit more. But otherwise, really outstanding. And honestly, I think we could play that to a lot of clubs in terms of motivating leadership recruitment. So thank you so much, and hope to hear more from you. Back to you, Nico.
Thank you very much, Eric. Now let's hear Marius's evaluation for Oleksandr's speech. Marius, big round of applause.
Thank you, Enikő. Oleksandr, congratulations for your speech. I can say that I like the way your speech started with a very good introduction, setting up a stage with the phrase "a while back," which led us to the story, sparked the curiosity, and give us a little hint of what was to follow. A short piece of advice here. It's often recommended or useful to start with a quote or an intriguing statement in the beginning, and then set up the stage for what's to follow. That gives a little bit more power to the introduction. Now, I like the way it continued with your start in the Toastmasters experience. You used a lot of metaphors, figures of speech, very good story. I like the fact that you used a personal story for this objective, and how it came from the idea to the practice, how exactly this mentoring phase helped you jump the fence from where you began to the point where you accepted to compete in contests. I like the fact that it was well, how can I say it? I'm scrambling through my notes. Here, I will recommend a small piece of advice. If you can give the example a little bit more practical, so it will be like a problem solution, something like a recommendation or advice that you took from the mentor, something practical that you used that helped you jump that phase and that helped you go one step further from where you were. I like the fact that you had vocal variety and good body language, although I recommend to adjust the camera a little bit more so we can see more of your body, because the gestures were limited by the camera angles. Other than that, I liked your enthusiasm, your charisma. You have a good smile, so keep on doing it. Just like Daiana said, just do it, and good luck in the future. And I'm eager to see one of your next speeches. Who knows? Maybe next time. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you, Marius. Now we will go to the next evaluators. technical ones. So let's ask Călin how our fluency was during the meeting. A big round of applause for Călin.
Thank you very much, Enikő. There were a lot of people who talked, so I would not go into many details. If you don't hear your name, then everything was smooth. So I see our Toastmaster of the evening, Nataly. She had 2 repetitions and a few R's. Enikő, a few R's. Lesia, 3 R's and 1 pause. Eric, just 1 repetition and 3 R's. Marius, 8 R's. Dmytro, 3 R's, 1 pause and 3 repetitions. Liudmyla, our table topics master, around 6 R's. Kevin, obviously just 1 R. Done, 5 R's, and this is it. Overall, I would like to emphasize that the meeting participants had a good or very good verbal fluency. So there were no issues. We were speaking English in a fluent way. Obviously, I'm expecting the report of the grammarian, but that was not my problem. It was his or her problem. So thank you very much for exercising speaking English in public. Pay attention to your verbal fluency because it will enhance your eloquence and professionalism when you take your word in public. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Călin. A big round of applause. Let's see how our grammar was during the meeting. So a big round of applause to our grammarian of the evening. Day, sorry.
All right. Thank you very much. I was pondering for quite some time upon how I should build the presentation of my grammarian report. There is one thing that I repeat, that I have been repeating quite a few times, and this is actually an issue that is more pronunciation related, and it's more relevant to my Ukrainian fellow citizens, and that is that it is very important that you pay attention to the difference between s and th and v and w. Well, very often it is very often when a word is written, you easily see when you should pronounce that sound or another. Also, I will not go through each and every one of the people of the speakers who either gave a prepared speech or gave a table topic speech, because there were many mistakes that were common to many people. Well, however, I must admit that the prepared speeches at this meeting did impress me in terms of both vocal variety, in terms of the variety of the vocabulary and the grammar that was used. I completely agree with Marius that Alexander's speech was very good. In fact, in terms of this variety of the vocabulary that he used. So he said to ponder upon rather than to consider or to think over something. A very good alternative. Break a leg, one of my favorite idioms as well. There has been quite a bit of a discussion in the chat over it. Moving on. There were also quite a few issues with using the different forms of the verb to be. So a lot of people confused is and are. For example, I am pretty sure you know how old our country is, and not how old our country are, as one of us mentioned. And also now we do say northern, but south. Well, the adjective from that word, the adjective that is derived from that word is southern, not southern. Just a subtlety that I thought I should mention. Also, also the pronunciation of the word technique rather than technique. What else? There is also one other mistake that's actually quite commonly made by native speakers, and that is the order, of words in indirect questions. So I did hear one person say, if we look at how we will live in this world, rather than if we look at how we will live in this world. And one other thing, it is actually a very good example, both in terms of vocabulary and in terms of grammar. One of us mentioned the phrase to engage a leave English conversation. I'm pretty sure what was meant here was to engage in a live English conversation. And that is actually it for the mistakes and for the good examples of grammar usage. Thank you to Enikő for using the word of the day once, and to Robert for using the word of the day once. Nataly was definitely the champion for the usage of this word. I think you've used it 4 times at least. I think I haven't forgotten anyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we will go to our timer of the evening, Robert. A big round of applause for Robert.
Thank you very much, Enikő. I heard a quote recently, and I just went to look it up online, and it said, "You can't make up for lost time. You can only do it better in the future." So the report I will give today, if you did have read this time, maybe next time, try and keep it more in the time allocation and maybe make it a yellow or a green. So for our 2 speakers, speech number 1 from Daiana, it was yellow with 6 minutes and 18, and Oleksandr had 5 minutes and 25, green. So for the table topics, Kevin, you had 2 minutes and 11, red. Your evaluation by Eric was 1 minute and 5. Then Eric's speech, that was 1 minute 53, yellow. And Dmytro, your evaluation was 49 seconds. Then Dmytro as a speaker, 3 minutes and 13, that was red. The evaluation by Elizabeth was 1:35. Then Elizabeth's speech was 1:45. And the evaluation by Dan was 1 minute 30. Then Dan, your table topic speech was 2 minutes 40, which was red. And Declan, your evaluation was 1:42. And Vitaly, your speech was 2:24. And Uri, your evaluation was 1 minute 5. Now the speech evaluators, Eric, you were red with 3:37. Marius, you were red with 3:10. Călin as the A counter, 1 minute 28, green. And the Grammarian was 1:38, red. And the timer at this moment is red with 2:15. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Robert. Thank you to all the technical and speech evaluators during this meeting. Now I'd like to give a short feedback and evaluation to our meeting, like we are doing it in Timisoara English speakers. So we started the meeting according to the agenda, 10 minutes late. Recommendation for the president, you greeted the guest. Maybe they do not want to speak all, so 2 or 3 of them should raise their hand and then at the end, maybe you can ask them to come in front. Also, it would be helpful to name us when we have joint meetings so that we know which club is, and maybe the guest can be asked if they want to present themselves. Very nice, though, the gesture to present all of them. And also one recommendation, maybe I missed it, I did not hear you state the mission of a Toastmaster club. Nataly, very good preparation for the meeting, very interesting information. I like that you draw let's say, the similarities between the two cities. Regarding table topics, very good subjects, Liudmyla. One recommendation, due to the fact that it was a common meeting, we are not evaluating the speech, the table topic speaker, so it would have been nice to know from the beginning that if you evaluate the speech, you will be the next speaker. But it was something new for us, and I hope my colleagues who intervened learned something to speak and to evaluate in the same time, so it was a good practice for them. As I mentioned at the beginning, it would be nice to have our cameras open, and congratulations to all of them, because I hope it was a good meeting and the preparation was done accordingly. Thank you very much for the meeting, and Natalia, back to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Enikő, for evaluating all of us. General evaluator at the meeting, it is also really helpful role, and we'll think having general evaluators really more often than we had. And before we announce the winners of our table topic session as speakers and evaluators, I'm going to provide you with some more intersections, but those are like the Rotten Tomato session, and you will are going to understand why, because I'm going to speak about stereotypes, both about Ukraine and Romania. And the first stereotype, two stereotypes, both Ukraine and Romania, they are like territorial stereotypes about territory. Well, dear Romanian side Toastmasters, please don't throw Rotten Tomatoes at me, but probably you have already guessed what do people think when they hear Romania. Not everyone, educated people, but some say that, I know, that's Transylvania. Of course, Romania isn't only Transylvania, and we have heard a lot, and many Ukrainians have already traveled to Romania and discovered that. Okay, what do people think when, especially what do people thought 5 years ago when they heard about Ukraine? Chernobyl, because that HBO series appeared and so on and so on. First of all, you might see that I corrected the mistake. Chernobyl is Russian spelling. Ukrainian spelling is Chernobyl. Of course, Ukraine is in Chernobyl. There are a lot of beautiful places, and please come and visit us very soon. Another stereotype, it's really controversial one, but I decided to leave it, and still I'm going to share it. And it is connected to the previous one. I was surprised. People think that Romanians speak and understand Russian. Romanian language originates from Latin. How come? And talking about Ukrainians, yes, some Ukrainians still speak Russian, and but it doesn't matter. Doesn't mean that when someone who is Ukrainian is abroad, you should speak Russian to those people. We are really pleased to hear "Дякую," "Добрый день," but not the "Спасибо" and "Привет." And the third stereotype is about. Also, I was surprised that some people think that Romanian is plenty of onions and garlic. So I love onions and garlic. So I'm Romanian then. Of course, no. Of course, no. And there are so many dishes in the Ukrainian cuisine with those plants as well. And what about Ukrainian favorite food? Well, there was a time when Ukrainians ate a lot of that pork fat. But it doesn't matter that we still eat a lot of pork fat. And some people abroad from the eastern side of our country try to offend us, reminding about that we eat only that kind of food. Of course, no. And having said all of that, I hope you are not going to, I'm happy that I'm abroad, not in Kyiv, not in Timisoara, and is going to throw something at me in person. Having said all that, I'm going to share something really more pleasant than I was talking about just right now. And it is time for us to hear and to see who are the winners of the table topics session. And let us start with the yes. You can even unmute yourself, and for you that sound like that, like what we do during in-person meetings. And the winner of the table topic session, who is the speaker, it's Timur Berezhny. Congratulations, Timur. Thank you for participating and congratulations on winning that. And who is the best evaluator during the table topic session? And it is Elizabeth Kron. Elizabeth, your evaluation was really good. And most of us, many of us, voted for you. Congratulations on winning that part of the tabletop session. And now it's time for me to pass the stage, to pass control to the president, to another president of this club, the Timisoara English speakers. But before that, I'm going to tell you about the last intersection. You know what? When we were preparing to this meeting, I told Enikő that I am in Sheffield, England, and she told me, wow, one of our members is the member of the local Sheffield Toastmasters club. I went there and I met those girls. So there are a lot of intersections in our countries, a lot of intersections between our clubs. And the last but not the least, and really important, the last intersection is we are Toastmasters. That is why we met today and we had that great meeting. And what else can I say? Nothing. As a Toastmaster, I'm ready to pass the stage to Călin Gîlea to close the meeting. And after that, please don't leave because we are having the after party. Huge round of applause to every one of us, and Călin, the stage is yours.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Nataly. So let's give a round of applause for our Toastmaster of the evening, Nataly, for the general evaluator Enikő, and for the table topics master, Liudmyla. Thank you guys for running and organizing the meeting. I would also like to congratulate the organizers for finding the common points in our styles of running a meeting. And in the end, we had a smoothly run meeting. Yeah, I know that we are something around half an hour late, but yeah, and I will not keep your time anymore. So yeah, we are here for 2.5. We've been here for 2.5 hours. But we have a habit. We still have many guests. So joint club meeting, which was started between a Romanian and Ukrainian club, got much bigger, and I think we have 5-6 countries here, which is a testimony to the international nature of Toastmasters International. So this is why it's Toastmasters International, guys. So if we have 1 or 2 guests who would like to say a few words about this meeting, expectations, how things were in the end. So let's see if we have some guests or even members.
I'd like to take a word. I'm not completely sure if what is my status, because I'm joining for the first time. Probably I'm a guest. I was mostly listening, what I noticed is that the conversation goes in a very much more structured way that I'm used to in my life. The other way that I live, this is an opportunity for me, an opportunity to develop the skill of speaking, to develop this structure, and probably that is something that I will use, and I will attend the club here in Timisoara. Also, I was pleased to see all of you. How would I say? So Ukrainians, the people with whom I raised with, and Romanians whom I meet here almost every day. And I know that there are many more similarities between our nations, and I often found that the Romanians or Ukrainians are surprised when they see, or when they find out that this thing has also is a national symbol of both countries, or it exists in both countries. For example, the national skirts, they are so similar that practically I cannot distinguish Romanian national skirt from Ukrainian between different regions. So that is it from me. Thank you so much for the opportunity to attend this meeting, and I hope to see you in other meetings.
Yeah, thank you. I think you are Maxim, isn't it? Or
well, if you mean my passport name, then yes, Maxim.
Yeah, so you're welcome to visit our club. We meet every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. In a hybrid and online format. It depends on the week, but if you will follow our page, you will see exactly what kind of meeting we'll have. And also, Dnipro Hills is meeting every Sunday at noon. At least this is how I know. So I think they are continuing to have this way of meeting. Thank you very much again. Thank you very much, Dnipro Hills, for joining us for this joint club meeting. Thank you for our guests who enrich our experience. And I hope that Craig will promote this joint club meeting on Toastmasters Europe on LinkedIn and other social media accounts. So thank you to our Region 10 PR manager. So I think this meeting is closed, and we can start the impromptu socializing and a group photo. Yeah, I think.
So
Yeah.
I will try to make the best final photo for all of us. So just smile, open your cameras, and I will make some shots. Thanks to everyone to be so patient and to wait for the final photo till the time. And now we really can just to continue after our after party.